These days, you go to a brew pub and you get all kinds of great food, chicken wings and cheese curds and so on. But once upon a time, you would get hell like this. Today, we go back in time to taste the not-so-classics.
We think of Pennsylvania as a place for great beer, and it is, but it's also got some pretty great cider.
From Windridge Farm in Dallastown, PA, with Lou Bryson, I'm Glen Macnow for the Cider episode of What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow, joined by Lou Bryson, Beer Whiskey Authority. Lou's got the podcast Seen Through a Glass. Terrific stuff. Make sure that you catch that. So, today we're at Windridge Farm. It's a cidery, it's a brewery, it's the Winding Path Brewery in Dallastown. Beautiful place here.
Gorgeous, really is.
And we want to focus on cider, because we've never really done an episode on hard cider. And they do it really well. I am drinking, this is their Citrus Haze. It's got shades of tangerine and orange, and it's just delicious. What do you got there?
I have the New England Gale, which is a 9% cider. I thought I'd just start out a little light.
Okay, well this comes in at a 6, so I'm gonna enjoy this one. But we also learned that there are a lot of great ciders in Pennsylvania, so we're gonna do our swap with that. I brought you this. This is Commonwealth Ciders. Traditional dry, exported from Kensington, PA, when I think of Kensington.
And I was amazed, you told me it's 20 years old?
Yeah, they've been around for 20 years.
The place, not the cider.
No, I think this is relatively new. They describe this as dry, bone dry, with a whisper of natural sweetness and an elegant light touch, both in body and calories. Just 160 calories for this baby.
Oh.
So here's to you.
Cheers.
Very light, maybe even a little light. I mean, I could just guzzle my way through this thing.
Alcohol, about 5?
Yeah, I think that exactly 5% alcohol, but doesn't taste it. Deceptively low. Yeah. Nice, very pleasant. You could rip through a few of these after a round
Easily.
of golf. What about you?
Let me borrow your opener here. I have the Stamen Winesap cider from Plowman, which is over in Adams County. This is obviously it's a single varietal cider, just the one apple, Stamen Winesap, which is my favorite.
All right, am I drinking the bottle or you give me a glass?
Sorry, I thought.
Thanks.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, I do love this big bottle. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And nice can art.
Oh, that's got a little funk to it.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Well, they do say it's Plowman Farm ciders. These are farm-style rustic ciders.
Yeah, not my style. But hey, wish them well. Okay, so we also have the Sir Charles hard cider here from Philadelphia's own. And what else did I bring? Here you go. This is the Big Hill Cider Works Little Round Hop. So cider's a thing, and you brought another one too, I think, right?
Yeah, the Jack's hard cider.
Oh, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Cider and beer, I learned, are the 2 most popular alcoholic drinks in the world. I did not know that.
It's huge in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to visit Joe Sixpack in France in May, and where he lives up there, it's really big.
Yeah.
The market share had been growing in the United States, kind of flattened out.
It fluctuates. It gets big, it goes away. Every time you think it's going to be great, we start drinking something else.
Okay, and one of the things I learned is, with these ciders, they're truly cider, right? This is,
yes.
Okay, you make it by doing what?
You grind up the apples, you put them in a stack, it's called a cheese. You press that, get the juice, ferment it.
Okay,
Done.
but some of the big national brands cheat a little bit?
They just get juice. They get big vats of juice and throw some yeast to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, not nearly...
Not as much work, that's for sure.
And the other thing that I'm learning, I mean, I think of apple cider, to be honest, like what I get around fall, right?
Sure.
And so on like that. As we've seen just from these few that we've had, a lot of varies in taste.
A lot of different tastes. I mean, you get different yeast, you get different apples, aging. I mean, I had some barrel-aged ciders too.
One last thing that I learned, this is the historical fact of it that I didn't know. Cider was more popular than beer in colonial America back in the day.
John Adams drank it every morning.
And the reason was because who was the hero in this story?
Oh, Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed, right? Who you learned about as a kid.
Not for apple pies.
Right. We learned it in like, hey, everybody had apples, apple pie, eat an apple.
Nope. Cider.
It was for the booze.
All about the cider.
Who knew? Okay, as we do this show, as it airs, we are either you're watching the show either right before or right after April 23rd, an historic day, not because it's my birthday, which it is, but I'm going to try to say this right, is the 507th anniversary of Reinheitsgebot. Was I close?
Close enough.
Okay, what the heck is that?
It's a German purity law. Started in Bavaria, and it essentially says you can only make beer from hops, malt, and water. They left yeast out. They added it later.
Okay, now do they still follow these rules?
They follow it because they want to. It's not really a law anymore because the EU struck it down as being protectionist. But most German brewers, yeah, they still do it.
Okay. Now, I don't know if they envisioned this 507 years ago, but my hunch is that Bavaria, where this started, now part of Germany, adopted these purity laws because they knew that we would ruin beer with imperial chocolate milkshake, smooth pastry, sour stouts.
Best theory I've ever heard.
There you go. Okay. Let's enjoy our cider and enjoy it quickly because when we come back, we're going to discuss the bar foods, now maybe your dad grew up on, but the stuff that used to be behind the bar before breweries started having really good food. And we're going to take our stomachs to the test is what we're going to do and see if we survive this thing. We're at Windridge Farm, beautiful place here out in Dallastown. With Lou Bryce and I'm Glen Macnow. You're watching What's Brewing.
So we went to this place called Bucks County for vacation. There was so much to do. We played games, rode on a train, and visited Kids Castle. I went on rides, water slides, and got to hang with Elmo at Sesame Place. We hiked to this huge boulder field called Ringing Rocks. Oh, and I got to meet a pilot. That was so cool. You gotta go.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Lou Bryson. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at Windridge Farms out in York, home of the Winding Path Brewery, where I am drinking the Lumberjack Red Ale. I love a red ale, Lou.
You don't see them. Not often enough.
Well, you should, because this is good. What about you?
I decided to go with a peach mango IPA. Not my usual style, but I saw my two favorite fruits, and I'm like, gotta have it.
That looks great.
6%, gonna try it.
Speaking of looking great, you see this array of delicious food in front of us. We do plan to eat that, probably not on camera, but the point is, when you go to a place like this these days, you get a full menu of delicious tacos and pizzas and sandwiches and so on. Didn't used to be that way.
Nope.
Used to be you would go to a bar and you would get beer nuts. Now, Lou, I am a fan of beer nuts. You like beer nuts?
Beer nuts are great.
Right. And they would put them out and you would eat them, and what would it make you do?
Drink more.
Right.
Yeah, well, joke's on them. I was gonna drink more anyway, so there.
Okay. They don't put these out anymore, nor popcorn, nor pretzels, because I think the people, everybody having their hand on them can't do it. And of course, behind the bar back in the day, they would have assorted meat strips. All right, I'm gonna take a small bite because I gotta talk. All right, tastes like leather. Slim Jims, or what do you call Landjaeger sausage or whatever. You a fan?
This is more like pleather.
Yeah.
The plastic leather.
Yeah, you good, bad? No. Could make a couch out of that.
Thank God for beer.
Okay. We asked our viewers, and they said places used to have something called blind robins. What is that?
Blind robins are a smoked, heavily salted herring that they used to sell in little packets stapled to a cardboard sheet. Really, just to make you drink more beer.
Right, and a big part of this is it's not like they would prepare the food for you. It would just like live there, and occasionally somebody would just say like, I'm gonna take that food off the wall or out of the jar. Speaking of which, Rocky Mountain oysters were a thing, not in this part of the country. If you don't know what those are, look them up. Had to have one once, lost a bet to Jody McDonald. Not great, but eggs. There was always the jar of eggs behind the bar, and you brought some today. What did you bring?
I brought, these are called red beet pickled eggs. These are from my local grocery store in Millheim. They make these every day.
The last time I saw a jar of eggs behind a bar was on The Simpsons. Most taverns used to have one, and there was always a cockroach at the bottom of it. Try this. Oh God, that's like it's been around for 20 years.
It's fresh, I swear.
That's fresh? That thing is as hard as a golf ball. But the creme de creme. Oh, by the way, I read, there was a logic to pairing eggs and booze because eggs have something in them called cysteine, God, that tastes terrible, which is a key amino acid in helping the liver function. It's present in eggs, which is why if you have a hangover, that bacon, egg, and cheese thing can kind of help you. All right, let's have more of this beer before.
We really going to do this?
We're going to do this.
Okay.
We asked our viewers, what do they used to have in bars back in the day? And several people said this. This, my friends, is pickled pig's feet in a jar. And I swear to God, I remember as a kid, they would have pickled pig's feet in a jar. I have never had this. Some people may consider it a delicacy.
Well,
who knows?
It's definitely bar food. There's a Billie Holiday song.
Is that right?
Pig's foot and a bottle of beer.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, Lou, I don't even know how to approach this.
I can't get at this. There's a
feel
bone
like
in the way.
it's all skin. All right.
I know.
All right, I cut through the skin.
Okay.
I got a piece of flesh. You got some?
I'm getting a wedge of meat here.
There you go. Let it not be said we don't do things for TV.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here you
God
go.
bless the viewers.
Ready?
No, it's
right,
fighting
well, I'm gonna
me.
eat it.
It's fighting me.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm eating, like it tastes like a rubber tire that somebody soaked in vinegar.
I can't decide whether it's the flavor or the texture that's worse.
Again, it makes you drink more beer
Oh, yeah.
because you want to forget the flavor. That is terrible. Pickled pig's feet.
Not a fan.
No, I didn't like the eggs.
Beer nuts.
Beer nuts are great.
Yeah.
Or
Wow.
when we go to commercial,
real food.
we're going to eat all that. By the way, one other one that came up was raw onions. And the famous bar, McSorley's Old Ale House in New York, used to offer slices of raw onions. Old John McSorley, the founder, had an extraordinary appetite for onions. The stronger, the better. As did, listen to this customer base they had over the years. Abe Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, Teddy Roosevelt, Boss Tweed, Hunter S. Thompson, Woody Guthrie, and the poet E.E. Cummings, who described McSorley's as the ale that never let you grow old. All right, we went to our viewers on social media, got a couple responses. What do you got? Read one of those.
Matthew Cole, who's up where I am, said they used to have Miller's Hot Bologna at the bar in Center County. There was a list kept at the bar. You put your name down to get the jar after a brine, after the bologna was all gone, and then you pickle your eggs in it.
Oh, I love that.
That's thrifty.
All right. Drew Trainer said a bar that I used to hang out at had horseradish and oyster crackers on the bar. The bartender used to call the horseradish Manayunk Dristan.
I love that.
All right. Give me another one.
Mike Gates, following rugby practice in Haddonfield, they'd go to the Village Inn in Cherry Hill to rehydrate. Plenty of pickled eggs and maybe some other kind of sausage, pickled sausage behind the counter.
I swear to God, this is, how did people live back in the day before this stuff? All right, enough of this.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to try to eat some of this good stuff. And I'm going to go visit Joe Sixpack in France. With Lou Bryson, I'm Glen Macnow at Windridge Farms in York for What's Brewing. Hey, it's Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, genius and chief bottle washer at the Conshohocken Brewing Company, here to show us what's hot for 2023.
Our lead dog, Type A IPA, citrus and grapefruit, 7% West Coast IPA.
Love this one, it's coming home with me. What's next?
Life Coach, our hazy IPA, our fastest growing brand, juicy and citrusy, perfect for any hazy IPA.
And very crushable. Keep going.
Ring the Bell, our American lager, crisp, clean, easy drinking, tastes especially good down the gate.
No better way to celebrate a win. And
Backpack beer, our Belgian style wheat, light, refreshing, and approachable. Throw a couple backpacks in your backpack.
I'm gonna go take a hike. Finally,
Mother's Row, our classic ESB, proud to make maybe one of the best English ales in the country. Philly loves an underdog, support your local brewery and watering hole.
That's a beautiful sentiment. All these available at Conshohocken Brewing locations or wherever great beer is sold. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow. As always at this time, we are joined from France by Joe Sixpack. And I'm really looking forward to this one today because this is a style of beer that is not my favorite, and so maybe I'll get a little warmer to it. I know it's a big one of yours, and that is Belgians. We were going to do an 8,000-mile beer swap, but unfortunately I forgot to get the beer that you wanted me to. But this is, I'm going to enjoy this one that I got, and I'm going to tell you about. This is the Westmalle Trappist Duple, a dark reddish brown Trappist ale with a creamy head and fragrance of caramel and dark fruit. 7% ABV, malty sweetness. Look at that. It is a beautiful beer. Don't know what you know about this one, but I do plan to enjoy it.
Westmalle is one of the Trappist breweries in Belgium, and that one, Glenn, you're making me envious because that is a fantastic beer.
Yeah, well, you didn't come empty-handed, though, did you?
No, I did not. I brought a glass of St. Bernardus. I'm pouring it in my Orval glass. St. Bernardus 12, which is very much similar to your beer, only stronger. It's 10% alcohol, and it's not a Trappist beer. It's sort of maybe one of the faux Trappist beers. It's very similar to that West Vleteren 12 that you and I drank on the show once, I think.
Yeah.
That beer that people line up for. So
yeah, best beer in the world, we were told. And it actually was pretty damn good, although not like most beers I drink. So let's define what is a Belgian. What is the style? We know what an IPA is. We know what a lager is. What's a Belgian?
Well, here's the thing about Belgians. There's a lot of different styles. It's when somebody says it's a Belgian beer, they could mean a lot of different things. It could mean a Trappist double like you're drinking. It could mean a triple or a quadruple like what I'm drinking. But there are some basic styles that we can look at. And I'm just going to run through these so that we can chat a little bit about some of our favorites. But wit beer is probably the lightest of the bunch. It's a wheat beer. It's made with usually with coriander, maybe some orange in it. Spicy beer. It's very refreshing. You see a lot of those wit beers in America. I mean, Blue Moon.
I got one right here. I got the Allagash White Belgian style with coriander and Curaçao orange peel. How about that?
Yeah, that's the ticket, and that's like really one of the great examples in the whole world, and especially one that's very, very available in the American market. Another one, maybe just a little bit stronger, is Saison, which is French for season. It's known primarily as sort of a farmhouse ale. That's because it's rustic. It's made with local farm-produced ingredients, usually with wheat or maybe spelt, but something other than just barley. Very refreshing. In America, not that many people are making true Saisons. They tend to be sort of more like cloudy IPAs in my mind. If you're looking for a true Saison, you can do no better than the benchmark beer, which is Saison DuPont, made in Belgium. I recommend it often because it pairs so well with food.
All right, now I brought another one today that doesn't fall into that. This is the very popular. This is the one that I know people would drink the most. The Victory Golden Monkey from Downingtown. Very popular beer. In fact, my wife, who doesn't drink a lot of beer, loves this beer. How would you classify this one?
I would classify that one as a brain bender. It's strong, and you got to be careful when you drink it. Very high alcohol. That is a strong Belgian golden ale, and it is one of the finest examples made in America, I think. It totally mimics the whole yeasty kind of phenolic flavor of a Belgian high alcohol ale like that.
So we did an episode recently at Lower Merion Beverage Company. They had several aisles of Belgian beers, but you don't see it as much out in bars. I read a stat that the percentage of beers that people have out, bars and pubs, is down to 2 to 3% of the market. It is higher from big breweries because of things like Golden Monkey and Allagash White. But Philadelphia does have kind of a nice history with Belgians.
Well, we do, because the city, at one time, I remember a beer writer referring to it as Brussels on the Schuylkill, because we had such a vibrant Belgian beer bar population going on in the city, whether it was the likes of Eulogy or Bridget's or Monk's. These are really good beer bars that were introducing people to a lot of interesting styles of beer. Some of those bars are still around, but others have faded away. And I think that's primarily because of the competition from American craft beer. People want that local beer, and they're not so interested in paying a higher price for an imported Belgian beer.
Monk's still doing well, though, and Monk's making its own beer these days.
Indeed it is. It's interesting because if you do look at Monk's, you'll see that they also have a lot of non-Belgian beers on tap. So even they have recognized the way that the market is.
All right, well, I tell you what, as you know, I'm coming to visit you in the spring in France, and when I do, you can try to persuade me to like a Saison, a style I've never really gone for. On the other hand, this West Malt pretty good, so.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Fun episode, Joe Sixpack. Enjoy your beer, everybody. We'll be back with more of What's Brewing.
The Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board is holding its first ever Freedom from Hunger Drive in the spring. We normally hold it in the fall and we'll still be doing that, but we want to help the soup kitchens and food pantries all across Montgomery County recover from exhausting their resources over the holidays and get ready for the summertime when kids won't be in school for free and reduced meals. No one should have to wake up with the burden of worrying if they'll have enough to eat that day. So help us fight hunger together at valleyforge.org/hunger. For the Tourism Board, I'm Rachel Riley.
Oh, hi. Whoa. Just cleansing our palates, Lou Bryson and I here after that last segment. We're here at Windridge Farms in York, home of the Winding Path Brewing and all kinds of other things. And we are joined now by Jason Reese, who is the CEO of this establishment, and Glenn Smith runs a great tour operation. We're going to get to that in a moment. But Jason, first of all, we have loved our time here. I'm drinking a Sunset Lager, which is a nice 4.8% ABV refresher. What about you, Lou?
I'm joining you on the cold brewed train. I have the Pilsner at 4.5.
Okay, let's talk, Jason, a little bit about this place. We came in talking about the cider. Your head brewer does both the beer and the cider. Give us a little background on the cider itself.
So we pride ourselves on cider. We started the business on cider. We purchase all of our apples and ingredients locally here in PA, out of York and Adams County primarily. We work with small farmers, Peter's Orchards, Bream Farms. We purchase direct from them. We press on site at our apple press. We roll the juice downhill into the fermentation tanks, and we produce the wonderful, excellent ciders that you guys have had the opportunity to taste here today. So, our team pulls it all together. Somehow we do it every week, and we're happy and just grateful that you guys took the time to come out and see us here in Dallastown.
Well, just one of the things, Lou, that is the amazing variety of beers and ciders they have, right?
There's a long string of taps there, and it's all varied. It really is.
Yeah, you've got so much going on, both with the grapefruit and the beer and the cider. Let's talk a little bit, now you distribute the beer and the cider where?
We do. We distribute the beer in PA and Maryland primarily. You can obviously get it here at the farm. We have a satellite location in Lancaster, a tasting room there that's a retail store and restaurant on the second floor. And then our cider is throughout the Mid-Atlantic, so we're as far west as Ohio and as far south as Virginia.
And Jason, you actually, as this show airs, you're in the middle of a really fun spring event.
We are. We run a couple of really large events throughout the season, and as we kick off the spring, everybody's kind of ready to get back out there, and we love to be able to showcase the farm in all its glory, the 80 acres that we have out here. We have a big event called Spring Fest, where you can come with the family, enjoy 2 full days of live music, bands, food trucks. The restaurant is open. We have yard games. Really, we encourage people to come out and spend the day here, and a lot of people do. Pitch tents in the yard and hang out and just enjoy themselves.
All right, well, I'll just say they're really a lot of fun. All right, if you watched our show for several years, you will recognize the man to his right. That is Glenn Smith. Oh, what was it, 2019? Glenn, Joe Sixpack, and I did a one-day tour of how many breweries in New York?
I think we hit 6 of them.
We did, and then somehow we just rolled our way home. Now,
I'm glad you made it.
Oh, delighted to be back, and you've got the tour thing. Obviously, the pandemic hurt everybody, shut everybody down. You got the tour thing going. Tell people a little bit about it.
Yeah, so when you guys joined us back in 19, we were the York County Ale Trail, and that's what we kind of launched as that because we live here in York, and we wanted to support the York County craft beer scene, which is an amazing scene, home currently to 32 breweries and growing. So since that time, we did do a rebrand, and we are now known as Brewery Tours, with the reason being is we are continuing to expand our footprint out. But the concept behind it is we provide exclusive educational and entertaining craft beer experiences. We want to teach people about craft beer while they're enjoying it.
So I know the York tour. You've got other ones as well. Like, where else can we go?
That's right. So we have our walking tour of York City, which is what you guys experienced back in 19.
Right.
We have our brew bus that goes around York County.
Love the bus.
Oh yeah. Since then we've purchased a couple more of them. So we're out in Hanover, Pennsylvania, which is Snack Food USA. A lot of stuff going on over there, which is a really nice little craft beer scene. And we are now moving into Gettysburg as well as Lancaster.
Lou, one of the things that you and I have discussed, and you up in State College, is just distinct parts of Pennsylvania. You really can find like a tour, a path in almost any part of the state now.
Passport system, whatever. But yeah, it's gotten so there are concentrations of beers, and there used to be big open spots on the map. There aren't anymore.
Yeah. So Glenn, if people want to do it, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you want to go to the website, which is the first place you want to start, which is ultimatecraftbeerexperience.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Okay. And we can do the walking tour, we can do the bus tour, we can visit all parts of the state.
And
I can make a year out of this.
Oh yeah, you can be with us the whole entire year. It'd be great. But I will put one other quick plug in, if I may, is we have a quarterly event called Ales on the Rails that we collaborate with a local train station. And we do a 3-hour train ride where we sample craft beers.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, and they're all themed, and they are a ton of fun.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, listen, Jason, we've had a great time here. Glenn, always a pleasure to see you. I think we're going to see you again next week. Lou, always as well. Now, fellas, we do have more of that pickled pig's feet around if anybody wants a final taste before we go. Lou, you're good with the salad
I'm good
there?
with the salad. Thank you very much.
There you go. Guys, thanks so much for a good show. And thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next week. I think we're going to stay in York, go to another place on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.